Good morning, dolls, and welcome to Little Gretchen's workshop. So today I just want to take a minute to just thank each and every one of you, everybody who has been watching my channel from the beginning, and even if you just started, I appreciate you as well. But I just really want to give a special acknowledgement to those of you all who have been so engaged and excited and encouraging me along the way as I created the things for the doll's wedding, everything through the courtship of Saidi and Marguerite, and sent materials and supplies and suggestions and letters and cards of encouragement and words of encouragement. And you bought me coffees on my buy me a coffee account, and everything you've done to help support my channel, not just through the doll's wedding, but throughout the whole process. I feel like right now is kind of my anniversary for the channel. The channel actually started January 2021, but it was like in this time or this season, 2 years ago, right around a little after July, that I introduced the dolls into my channel. And you all's response has been incredible. My dolls at one point in my life was something I didn't share with people because sometimes people don't get it. People don't understand dolls. People have all types of different feelings about dolls. And your response and your acceptance of my dolls and enjoying my stories and enjoying the world I've created for them within the room and house has been incredible. Being able to have you all to share it with. It means a lot to be able to tell a story and then somebody to listen. It's a give and take process, and it means so much to me. I've mentioned so many times over my years of collecting and making miniatures and creating, I really didn't have anybody consistent to share these things with, and to have you dolls to share what I create, what I make, my imagination with the stories and the dolls and the things within the doll community. It's been wonderful. It's been wonderful building this community with not just within YouTube, among the other YouTubers and different platforms, but even creating this community among Little Gretchen's Workshop has been, yeah, to me, phenomenal. Because when I started my journey in miniatures, things like this didn't exist. And to be able to interact with you all from all parts of the world, and you all to open your hearts to me to watch my channel and share with me your ideas and let me know you're enjoying my content and you're feeling encouraged and inspired by what I share. That means so very much to me. And I just want to say thank you. This has been an incredible experience to be able to do this. Doll wedding to me was really something special, and to be able to share that with you, it has been incredible. Let me not talk too much, but I just had to tell you how much this has all meant to me and how wonderful this experience here on YouTube has been. You all have made it. You've made it everything. It's been great. I do want to also I want to share with you. I went to go buy one of my own T-shirts. I'm gonna stand up and show it to you so you can see it. I went to go buy a purple one, and all the purple ones were gone. All they had was the pink, and I was really glad because I got the pink and I really like it. I don't know why on camera it's showing up as almost reddish looking, but it's like the baseball style, so it's got the little stripes on the sleeves. It's a good length. It's nice and long. It's not like a baby tee or anything, because I have a deluxe body and it's roomy, it's stretchy, it's really nice. And also, I'm going to let you know we got the Little Gretchen's Workshop mugs. If you haven't seen them, they are also available. And I also have aprons, tote bags, and oh wow, it's so funny. I had stickers. I didn't even realize I had stickers one of you dolls gave me something with a sticker on it, and I didn't realize that actually came off of my site, and I'm so funny sometimes. But I thank you, dolls, so much for just being a part of Little Gretchen's workshop. I've really got a great video just kind of bringing you up to date on some things. The next project here on the channel, so I'm going to share that with you today. But I keep saying it, and I know I probably sound so repetitive, but I just want to tell you thank you. Um, when I first started the channel, I just remember calling my dad and telling him that I had 15 subscribers, and he would be so excited. And to think that I am right now on the brink of 9,000. It really is something special, Dolls, and I just want you to know how much I appreciate you. I'm so grateful for this channel, and yeah, let's go ahead and get to the featured video. Now, dolls, this is my new project, and I call it the Aunt Shirley Dollhouse. This is a quick picture of me and Aunt Shirley a couple years ago. Now, this dollhouse was gifted to me by her family, and I will leave a link in the description of when I first got it. And although it's solid and in great condition, I do have some ideas about how I want to decorate it. There have been quite a few discussions among the dolls as to what to do with the property, and those discussions will be on the Wednesday video, and I will leave a link in the description for that. So this is the last look at how things were before I got started. So let me show you my process. So I started out by removing the first layer of the wallpaper from the dining room, and you can tell this is a dining room because it still has the chandelier intact. While working on the walls, I realized a couple floorboards were loose, and I glued them down and clamped them to dry. Now from this angle, you can see that the house is electrified. It has a tape wire going across the bottom, and I do have a piece of molding to remove. Now many times you see people remove the wallpaper right down to the wall, but I didn't do that, dolls. The first layer of wallpaper was very smooth, so I added my new wallpaper right on top of it. Now, in previous jobs, I have used tacky glue, but today I'm using the Grandma Stover's stick flat glue that's great for wallpaper. And it works really well and spreads really easily, and it does not bubble. But although the container looks really small, a little bit goes a long way. You definitely don't want to use more than you need. Now, for best practices or best results, dolls, I advise that you spread your wallpaper paste evenly on the wall itself, and then carefully position your paper on the wall and smooth it down. Now, this was a very simple process because this room is not very big, and the wallpaper I had was a really wide sheet, so I was only needed 2 pieces to do this small 3-sided room. So dolls, I have to make a confession. In the process of doing the dining room, I knocked the chandelier out of the ceiling. I don't do electricity. I'm a battery light person. I had to phone a friend as to what to do, but I'll deal with that at a later date. So I went on to add the glue to put the window frame in. Their windows have like a little trench around them. So I just added a little glue and pressed it right back into the window opening. And just like that, the update of the dining room is complete. So dolls, this is the room that's to be the new dress shop. Now it doesn't have any flooring. It already has the wallpaper and molding and everything. I have to fix those railings, but it's a really nice room. Now the wallpaper is a little bit lumpy, but it's not really damaged or anything. So I was trying to decide whether I would leave it like this or whether I wanted to take the time to redo the walls, but I'm undecided. It really doesn't seem like the wallpaper is laying flat. It's almost like it's soft. I guess it's sort of like buckled. But I just want to show you what I was thinking about this cream and pink print that I have. You really can't see it good, but it's not quite enough of it to do the whole room, so I will have to think about it. But I do have enough flooring paper, which I'm going to use the same type that I used in the current dress shop. And so this is actually scrapbooking paper that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I absolutely love it. And it's enough of it to do the complete room. I will have to do a little bit of splicing around the edges. And the great thing about scrapbooking paper, it's inexpensive, but I did buy several sheets, so I have plenty to do the entire room. I just have to make sure I line up the boxes or the squares so that everything looks uniform. Now, although the other 2 rooms were pretty small here on the first floor, this room is like the size of 2 rooms, so it's really, really deep, and I don't have enough wallpaper to go all the way around. So that's why I'm pondering whether to remove this wallpaper or not, because I need either 3 big sheets or 4 small sheets. So while I was working out that wallpaper dilemma, I went on to work on the kitchen. I did have wallpaper that was enough to complete this room, and it's actually the same print that I used in my original dollhouse kitchen. And I will leave a link in the description to my original dollhouse tour so you can see it. And here I'm just trying to give you a quick close-up of that print. So after finishing the kitchen, I went back to the dress shop and then just ripped all the wallpaper off of it. And as I know, this looks like an absolute train wreck. This is all just superficial and nothing that I can't correct. Now, I had already installed the flooring paper because I was convinced that I wasn't going to remove the wallpaper. But you see here, this is the first layer of wallpaper. This room also has the tape wire in it, and I'm not going to bother that. And you can see here up along the ceiling the original wire that Uncle Ernie put in when he originally built the dollhouse. Now you can see here up close the wallpaper was a little textured, and again, I'm not going to remove it. I'm going to wallpaper right on top of it. It's nice and flat. And you can see here the wood is good and solid, and I was able to salvage the window frames, door frames, and the trim. So while I was questioning my decision to rip all that wallpaper off of the walls in the downstairs room, I went on up to the room that I call the pink room. And although this room was very lovely with the pink walls and pink carpet, I had some new ideas about what I wanted to do. Now, I'll probably forever call this room the pink room because of its original wallpaper, and the paper was in really good shape, but after going through my stash, I had a roll of wallpaper that I wanted to use. And I did the exact same thing. I just wallpapered on top of the existing paper because it wasn't damaged and it was nice and flat. Now again, dolls, this room wasn't very big, so I had 3 sheets of paper, which worked out really well. The main thing was I needed to line up the stripes and the pattern, which is a little bit more challenging sometimes, more so than when working with paper that has a random pattern. Now with this wallpapering job, I did things a little bit differently because normally I don't have the coving or the baseboards in, and I lay them on top to cover whatever mistakes I made. But this time I wallpapered right up to the baseboard and then trimmed it with my craft knife when I was done. Now, I just want to show you, dolls, that this is some Schombacher paper, and it's stamped 1978. Now, it's by the same company that the paper was by that I did the kitchen with, and when I say this wallpaper is superior, I mean it. This stuff is over 40 years old, and the way it held up, because I'm not delicate or dainty when it comes to wallpapering, I was rough with the paper. I kind of crumpled it a couple times, but it smoothed out really nicely, and I was able to wipe it down with either a baby wipe or a Clorox wipe. Either way, none of the color came off. Here's a perfect example. I actually used it and pressed it into the window to make an indentation so I would know where to cut it out around the window frame. The body of this paper is very weighty or dense, and again, it's not tearing, it's taking the impression without tearing. And you can see here I'm handling this paper quite a bit, trying to get my impression so I'll know exactly where to cut the window frame opening out. Now let's be clear, you can't do this to all papers. Some papers will not tolerate the handling and they'll tear right through if you try to rub them. So only do this with really high quality paper or dollhouse wallpaper that's at least 40 years old. Now, if you're timid about it, you don't have to open the window all the way up. You can just do it slightly and then trim off any extra. But I cut it down. Now, I haven't added my glue to the wall yet. I'm just doing what I call my dry fit, tri-fit, and it looks really, really good. It's fitting really nice. Now that I'm solid with the fact that I'm pleased with my template cut, I'm adding my wallpaper paste to the wall. Now again, I want to stress this is my technique. This is probably not in the Dollhouse Code of Conduct, and I probably could be arrested by the Dollhouse police, and I could probably easily be convicted of multiple Dollhouse felonies for some of the things and liberties I'm taking in this renovation and redecorating process. Now I want you to watch me here because I'm adding a little extra wallpaper paste right under the window because I want to close in that little gap. And after adding that additional piece of wallpaper over the little gap and then putting my wallpaper on top, and that little piece of paper made the wall more smooth and the gap undetectable. So if there ever comes a time where somebody's doing dollhouse inspections or they're going around rubbing dollhouse walls to see if they're perfectly smooth, I hope they do find some lumps and some gaps, and then they'll know I was here. Now you can see in this frame that I trimmed off the excess wallpaper right at the baseboard, and now I'm dry fitting the flooring. Now, dolls, on my other houses, I always use popsicle sticks or coffee stir sticks, but in this instance, I actually had some flooring that I got from a recent estate sale. And I really felt like it was a cool coincidence because it's the same type of flooring that's on the floors of the other rooms in the house that didn't have carpet on them previously. Now, this room did have pink carpeting. Carpeting is not my thing. So I'm working on creating sort of like a subfloor to raise the flooring up a little bit so that it'll match the bottom of the baseboards. So at this point, I wasn't solid on my decision, so I went to work on something else. Now, this is the second floor room that's just above the dress shop, which will probably be the sewing room. And again, the floor is in really good condition, but a couple of the floorboards were a little bit scarred, so I removed them and replaced them with some little pieces from that new flooring that I had. And I'm so sorry for the shaking camera, but I was really trying to get up here close so you could see what I was doing, but I still ended up being out of focus. But that little light spot is where I cut out the wood boards that were damaged. And just that quick, I almost had an over glue use moment, just oozing it out there, but I'm gonna clean it up with a quick swipe of my finger and I'm back under control. And I know this angle is terrible and it's probably really hard to see, but I just wanted you to see I just laid in some replacement boards to fill in the part that I cut out. And after I glued it, I wiped off the area to make sure I didn't have a lot of glue residue. Hopefully I didn't get so much glue on it that the stain won't take, but I'm just trying to make sure everything is nice and flat before I start sanding. And as I must admit, the floor wasn't completely dry and I did start to do a little sanding, but I'm going to allow it to dry with a granite block on top to make sure it dries nice and flat before I stain it. So let me show you real quick how things are coming along. So here is the kitchen. It is complete and ready to go. I'm really pleased with it. And here's the pink room. It's no longer pink, but I've completed the wallpaper and added the flooring. Let me angle the camera a little bit so you can see that floor a little bit better. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. It looks very similar to the flooring in the rest of the house. So now that the kitchen, dining room, and pink bedroom are done, let's move on to this other floor again. So just as I was about to stain the floor, I realized another part of the floorboard was a little bit lifted, so I added glue to that and clamped it down. And while that was drying, I went on to add stain to the floor. Now, I do believe I wiped up the sawdust. Yeah, I did. I think I did. But I added my first layer of stain. Then I wiped it off again and added more stain. So when I finished my first layer of stain, it just seemed like that little part wasn't getting dark enough. So I went and got some of my super dark stain and put it on there and let it sit for half a second. And then got another baby wipe and wiped it off. Now it's still not the same color as the rest of the floor, but it's better than it was. So I'm going to leave a link in the description so you can see what the bathroom looked like before I started to rip the wallpaper off. But I originally was going to leave it, and then I decided I had some wallpaper that I wanted to use. So I started to rip this off too. Now I didn't bother the beadboard. I just more or less pulled off the window frame and just the paper. Now I did by mistake trying to remove everything neatly. I ripped the fixture off the wall as well, so that's going to need to be rewired too. So far, I need a new chandelier and a fixture for the bathroom. But hey, the bathroom is wallpapered, and this is how it turned out. I'm really pleased with the look, nice and clean and bright, and ready for new fixtures. So now that I've completed all of the smaller rooms, it's time to start tackling these bigger ones. So I started with the attic. And I really like this space because I feel like it could do double duty. Now, there are some challenges because of the slope of the roof, but I did use a piece of graph paper to create a template before I cut my paper. Now, I'm using two different types of paper. Up here, I used one in the back of the room and a different one toward the front of the room. And the stripe again was a little bit challenging, but I took my time and made it work. And here is the attic with the completed wallpaper. I added a little beam, and now the flooring is glued in. I haven't decided what to do with the steps, but you can see how lovely the floor is. Now here we are in the new dress shop showroom after the demo. And here it is. I used two different types of wallpaper and use a border to divide the two. And here is the former train room, which will be the sewing room. I didn't do anything to the floor. I just added this nice red and white striped wallpaper, and I'm really tickled about how it turned out. And here's a quick recap of the little rooms. Now, dolls, if you enjoyed this video today and want to see more content like this, go ahead and subscribe. And always look for me on Mondays and Wednesdays after 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I truly love creating these videos for you, dolls. And I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next episode of Little Gretchen's Workshop. Bye-bye now, dolls.